Soul Reaver.
Soul Reaver.
Bro, please, bro. Why you do?
Buongiorno, you beautiful bastards, and welcome back to the next iteration of our crazy frog-looking guy in the sad realities of Nosgoth. After killing our first boss, we now acquired a talent of going through gitters, and damn, we left some gitters to go through behind. Forgot to mention that this game is labeled Metroidvania, so closed paths and backtracking after major events, reacquiring new powers, is something we will do a lot here. Going through a few secret places, which bestow Raziel with the most useless spells in the universe, we finally come to the throne room of our father. The layout and architecture of Cain's crypt is something worth mentioning. It has a distinctive Middle Eastern vibe, which could be observed in some other locations of the game as well. Makes the Abrahamic ties of Soul Reaver even more fleshed out. We meet our papa for the first time after our ass materialized in this world in you, and I just love the dialogue between them.
Raziel.
Cain.
The abyss has been unkind.
I am your creation, Cain. Now, as before, you criticize your own work. What have you done with my clan, degenerate? You have no right.
What I have made, I can also destroy, child.
Damn you, Cain! You are not God! This act of genocide is unconscionable!
Conscience? You dare to speak to me of conscience? Only when you have felt the full gravity of choice should you dare question my judgment. Your lifespan is a flicker compared to the mass of doubt and regret that I have borne since Mortanius first turned me from the light. To know that the fate of the world hangs dependent on the advisedness of my every deed? Can you even begin to conceive what action you would take in my position?
I would choose integrity, Cain.
Look around you, Raziel. See what has become of our empire. Witness the end of an age. The clans scattered to the corners of Nosgoth. This place has outlasted its usefulness. As have you.
The Soul Reaver, Cain's ancient blade, older than any of us and 1,000 times more deadly. The legends claimed that the blade was possessed and thrived by devouring the souls of its victims. For all our bravado, we knew what it meant when Cain drew the Soul Reaver in anger. It meant you were dead.
Of course, Raziel is a bit upset because, well, he had to kill his bro and his domain is laid in ruins, not to mention that his wings were cut off and he got a full crazy experience in that abyss. But he plays such a victim as if he himself wasn't the left hand of Cain, wiping out thousands upon thousands of people. Did he really think that Cain wasn't a crazy egomaniac that could pull out some fucked up shit like killing one of his closest people just of envy? That's a rhetorical question. On the other hand, our egomaniac throws passages like this.
Compared to the mass of doubt and regret that I have borne since Mortanius first turned me from the light.
As if he hasn't decided to #lose the light just to whack some bastards that just offed him.
The hunger for revenge. I didn't care if I was in heaven or hell. All I wanted was to kill my assassins. Sometimes, you get what you wish for. The necromancer Mortanius offered me a chance for vengeance, and like a fool, I jumped at his offer without considering the cost. Nothing is free, not even revenge.
To be honest, I freaking love the chemistry between Cain and Raziel. One is a coward and egotistical freak pressing on an argument everything is not as clear as it seems. The other is a moralistic, naive, hypocrite fool who tries to come from the point of morals, though he was a part of literal genocides, and not just in one life. We'll maybe get there someday. It's funny to see their interactions where Raziel tries to be the voice of good, antagonizing Cain, although if he wouldn't have evolved so rapidly, he might have massaged the feet of his puppy at this exact moment without any complaints. It's a very human, hypocritical behavior, and I love that just like in real life, both sides are hypocrites that just worth each other. Anyways, one boring gimmick boss fight later, we get our ass whooped, Soul Reaver gets destroyed, and the soul of the blade merges with ours, creating the coolest looking nether race vampire in the industry. Fight me. What the fuck is a Soul Reaver, you might ask? Well, it's the name of the game and actually the main protagonist of it. Yes, it's this fucking blade. And maybe if the Almighty will give me enough strength to get to the legacy of Cain Defiance, you'd get why am I saying this. The sword itself was created by Warador, the first vampire spawned by receiving the dark gift from the ancients, and a homie of Cain, whose head was already on the spike by the time of Soul Reaver, by the way. We can even notice his ring on the ear of Cain, making even our genocidal, edgy lord a little bit sentimental. So once again, the blade itself was made out of pillars of Nosgoth, making it indestructible, but through some time-traveling mumbo-jumbo. Time-traveling mumbo-jumbo is something you will hear often in this game. Two swords from different timelines meet each other, a few shots, some fat mama jokes, and a movable object meets unstoppable force. Bang, no Reaver. Look, I wanted to tell you a bit more about the blade, but halfway through I got to understand that this would spoil the story of all other games that I plan to cover. Not to mention that I haven't found any interesting trivia connected to it. Let's just say that this blade was repaired, got once again into the possession of Cain for a really fucking long time, made him come to the top, and at the moment it is breaking over our back like a bundle of spaghetti. Cain is shocked and skedaddles, we are shocked but still suck on that primordial energy. Into the scene comes Ariel, one of Cain's friends and the one who has witnessed his betrayal by the Pillars of Nosgoth. She throws us a few hard leads on what to do next and becomes one more person on pair with Mr. Tentacle to help us on our journey. I always thought it was kinda weird because we already have one talking head with whom we can communicate in our Batcave, where we always appear after loading our saves. Hell nah, I would wait to get here just to listen to the opinion of someone who is not even smashable anymore. Though nobody makes me to do it, and a possibility without forcing is always good in my book. From there we move to the Silent Cathedral. Maybe my favorite place in the whole game. As the rest of the game, it at times takes too much time, has too many of that cubicle bullshit, and the platforming makes me getting fucking worked up. Other than this, we have a very beautiful and unique location with indescribable horrors lurking in it, a beautiful mix of gothic, Middle Eastern and steampunk themes, and just a very cool idea behind it. The Silent Cathedral wasn't always silenced though. At the beginning it was a cathedral with a giant organ inside of it. Its tubes produced a sound on a frequency that takes bloodsuckers to the live Nirvana concert, and the instrument was that enormously big that its sound could have been heard all throughout Nosgoth. Yet it wasn't destined to be heard. The Zephonim, children of the fifth of Cain's lieutenants, stormed into the cathedral, slaughtering all of the workers and believers inside. Now they made this place into their home, awaiting any unfortunate soul to wander inside. And we are fortunate enough to be that unfortunate soul, unfortunately. In opposition to Milkiah's domain, here we move upwards. The more upwards we go, the more the metallic interiors of the church give into the flesh and body horror style. On the way up, we meet a few cultists, people who follow vampires as gods, and now attack any foe of Cain. Actually, they had to play a much bigger role in the game, and it's a shame they wouldn't. But their inclusion seems pretty logical. Every folk has a part of traitors inside. Other guys that we meet here are vampire hunters. It's worth noticing that those get very damn far in the walls of Cathedral, and moreover, they did it pretty damn far from their fort post. It instills a bit of hope for the fate of humanity in the future. Entering this Hellraiser-like room, the vile sphincter closes behind us, and we meet one more of our brothers.
Prodigal son, there is no returning for you, Raziel.
Zephon, your visage becomes you. It's an appropriate reflection of your soul.
And you are not his handsome Raziel anymore, his precious firstborn son turned betrayer. You have missed so many changes, little Raziel. Look around you. See how the human's weapon of destruction has become my home. Indeed, my body. A cocoon of brick and granite from which to watch a pupating world.
A crevice in which to cower, only scuttling from the shadows to devour a victim already ensnared in your cowardly trap. But you've made the mistake of leaving me unbound, and it is you who must succumb to my will.
Will, instinct, reflex action. The insect mind finds little difference. I warn you, brother. As my stature has grown, so it is matched by my appetite. Step forward, morsel.
And one thing that I love about this game is that it doesn't really need long expositions to show the relations between characters. With Micaiah, it was more of a disappointment with what he has become and then remorse for killing him. With Zephon, the sitch is a bit different. We can see Raziel's disgust toward his brother, which is met with the same from Zephon. From the lore and reactions during the game, we can see that Raziel was and still is a very proud man, with some concept of moral and dignity. Zephon, on the other hand, deems such concepts as foolish and illogical. His insect way of thinking brands emotions and virtues as something unnecessary, something that could stay on the way to survive. It's a classic story of complete opposites clashing if entropy puts them too close. This insect nature of Zephon is also shown in how he rules over his subjects. Venturing on into the world, we can see all kinds of vampires from different clans and different quantities roaming the world, yet not a single Zephon. Like spiders, they wait in their webs, gathering power all the while their brothers fight losing their strength. The Old Testament counterpart of Zephon is also peculiar. According to Josephon, or Jojolian, or the hell it's named, he was the grand-grandson of Abraham, the first Hebrew patriarch. In some another crazy ancient war, he was imprisoned by Joseph and taken to an island. With time, he became a general of defense on this island, and after that became the Latin king of Latium, the place where Roman Empire came to fruition in a few hundred years. We also have an angelic Zephon, whose Kabbalistic number is 6, the Zephyros of comically beauty. He is also one of the angels guarding the gates of paradise and one of those who went to look for Lucifer after his banishment from heaven. Well, the legacy of Cain Zephon is only vaguely reminiscent of the Old Testament one, maybe if only for his beauty and defensiveness. One more thing I'd like to speak of are the eggs. For the longest time I was thinking that Zephon, alien-like style, is able to create new vampires through hatching them from his eggs. Although it wouldn't make any sense from the lore standpoint, it would be in the spirit of a cosmic alien horror, which Zephon tries to represent. But then I've noticed that his eggs during boss fight are exploding on spot, and now everything has gotten on its place. Zephon couldn't make any new vampires from scratch because firstly, his race is cursed with infertility, and secondly, I don't know how he identifies himself, but I would boldly presume that he is a man, which makes this carrying life stuff even harder. So no, there is no lore contradiction. I suppose that those cocoons we can see moving up the cathedral are just either poor bastards that ventured inside, or even the followers of the vampiric order, which are agreed to be transformed into the beings they worship. After defeating our beloved kindred, we get the power of climbing the walls like Spider. And I know that it's a gamey game with gamey conventions, but holy fuck. Without the power, Raziel still could pierce his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle-like claws into the fucking cubicles, no problem. After receiving the power, he can now pierce the walls and like this move vertically, and only the particular places. And you wanna tell me that he couldn't do it without making his bro into barbecue? Come on. Alrighty, thank you folks for staying till here, and I don't know, there's more to come, so stay tuned.